We outgrow a lot of things in life: clothes, shoes, styles, trends, and even friends. But friendship breakups are something we don't talk about much. So that's what we're diving into for today's TNT Chat. We all outgrow friendships at some point in our lives, regardless of how close we've been with someone in the past. As we grow and evolve, friendship breakups are often necessary. So it is time we normalize them, but they can be so hard to get over. And I don't think we discuss that enough either. So T, I know I've talked to you about friendship breakups. I was dumped by a friend, and I deserved to be dumped by this friend because I was not reciprocating in the relationship. I wasn't being a good friend back, but it really hurt. But we don't necessarily talk about these friend breakups, and these friend breakups are brutal. The other one was a toxic friendship that I held on to for way too many years, and it was because I was stuck on this whole idea of the history we had and the good times we had together. And I think that something that is necessary to understand is that saying goodbye to toxic people in your life, you are still going to miss them, and you still have to leave them anyways, because you don't want to be living your life with all these toxic influences. So my question for you, T, is have you had like a friendship breakup? How tough was it to get through, and did you hold on for longer than you should have?
Just like you, I've been dumped as a friend, and I've also dumped friends, right? It's really, really difficult because, I mean, you've witnessed me, like I've talked with you about some of my other friendships too, during our makeup sessions, you know, about some friendships. I've had a 20-year friendship a couple of years ago that it dissipated. I know what it is like you want to walk away from your friends feeling good. And every time I hung out with this person, I didn't feel good afterwards, or I questioned a lot of motives, or I questioned a lot of the things that she said to me, or, you know, it just became this thing like you want to walk away from your friends knowing that person loves you, they support you, they want the best for you, and it's not something you have to think about, you know? And I noticed that every time I walked away from that person, I was questioning what they felt about me, what they meant when they said that, and blah, 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 and all of that. So I just realized you kind of talked me through it too, but like I had to eventually just let go of this friend, because it became toxic. But I've also been dumped, just like you. I've been dumped from friends as well, and some were rightfully so. They were right to dump me, and some of them I still think they made a mistake. But you know what? I think they hurt more than romantic relationships, even more so because this person played such a presence in your life. You tell them everything. They know more about you than a romantic relationship knows about you. They know everything about you. You talk to them all the time, and they're around it in your life all the time. You talk to them several times a day, and then suddenly they're gone. They're just gone. And so we should talk about it more because it really does take a while to get over that. And then you try to find new friends to replace that friend, and you shouldn't. It's just like, it's similar to like a romantic relationship. You just got to go find somebody new and not compare that friendship, because you kind of look back with it with rose-colored glasses, like you said, you know, you kind of just like looking back at it thinking that the good memories and the good times, and you're remembering all of that, but you're not remembering how they made you feel. So you have to remember that and move on.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And in my case, you know, I look back at pictures from my wedding, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you were in my wedding. Like, what happened between then and now? Well, we couldn't make it work. And I think a lot of us sort of hang on to that history, and it's very difficult to let that go and to understand, just like a romantic relationship, you actually can remember good times. That's okay. You don't throw out everything. You remember the good times. You remember the crazy times you had together. And you still understand that as a person that is respectful to yourself, you have to move on from the toxicity in that relationship. So you don't throw the whole thing out and pretend it never happened. It happened, and I think it's a huge part of who you are as a person. It informed who you are as a person. You informed who they are as a person. It just happens to be over. And we all have to sort of be good about talking about that and being open about that, and also figuring out when it is time to move on, because some relationships are worth saving, and other ones you have to sort of save yourself.
Yeah, you have to look at it like, I think you have to look at it like it's a new chapter.
Yeah.
We like to kind of hang on and stay in the first and second chapter, and it's like, you're never going to get to the end of the book. We got to finish your story. You have to let some people go, and it really does hurt, but you just have to. But I always say, remember, because this is what helped me, remember how the person makes you feel. If you walk away from that person not feeling good, or you get off the phone with them, you don't feel good, they have to go.
Yeah. So here's my super cynical Capricorn advice. Whenever I was in a relationship with a guy and the relationship broke up, and you know how after you break up in a romantic relationship, you end up romanticizing and be like, but it wasn't that bad, but he was really great. So my advice to myself was always remember the bad times. How sad am I? Remember the bad times, and that'll keep you on track.
I agree.
Sometimes you got to remind yourself, right?
Don't put on rose-colored glasses, right? We tend to do that. Like, oh, they were so great. If it was so great, then why aren't you together? It wasn't so great. Remember the bad times. Remember the bad times.
Great advice. I love it. Thank you, T.